Okay, I just want to make a short video on how you would prep a test to go on the student portal so that students could see their results of a test that they took on paper and that you scanned. And to do that, you're going to start off with, on your assignments, you're going to go to your key, and then you are going to go to student portal. And you're going to pick the classes that you want to get that particular assessment. And I will say this part can be a little bit confusing because the student portal was originally designed for students to take assessments online instead of using a paper bubble sheet. It's basically an online bubble sheet. So that's the original design of this system, but you can also use it to have your students review tests that you've already scanned in. So when you go to put the times in, that refers to the time that it's available for the students to take online. And since you're in this case, I'll make another video on how to have the students take tests online, but in this case, we do not want students to take the test online, and they've already taken it, or they're going to be taking it very soon on a pencil and paper test. So this would be a time that was in the past. So let's say I'm going to give a test. Let's say I gave a test on September 9th, but I was actually prepping this up in the portal on September 8th. I'm going to put in, that's going to be a time in the past that my students taking the test the next day. It's like I said, it's confusing, but we don't want the students to have their test. This is not like while available doesn't mean like the time that they can see it for the rest of the year. So you are going to set that up to be sometime in the past. Again, like let's say my students took this test for example, today's the 23rd. So let's say that they took this test. They're going to be taking it tomorrow, which is the 24th. I would put in today's date and then just a random time. That you have to make sure that you don't have it as the same time. Like you can't do 5 here and 5 there. Again, it's totally arbitrary what you pick because you want to make sure that these dates, because the students are not going to be seeing this assessment online ahead of time. If you use different versions, you can have the students pick the version, but in the case that you're going to be scanning their version, excuse me, their test has already been determined by what they took, so it will automatically give them the results of the version that they took. So for now, again, you're just going to pick the classes that are going to get the assessment and pick the time to be sometime in the past of when they would have taken that assignment. Now, where you're going to click, and you could select multiple classes at the same time. So where it says while available, if you're just giving them a paper test that you're going to scan, it's never going to be available for them to take online. So it really doesn't matter what you put here. So I'm going to move over to the after expiration. In our cases, that means after you have scanned it. So it's up to you what you want to do for this. You can show them their score or not, whatever you want to do. So usually what I do is I have a share the graded score, and then I want them to correct their answers. So I will put show responses and incorrect answers so they know which ones they got wrong, but they don't necessarily know what the right answer is. I know a lot of teachers, they just want the students to be able to look at it and see what the correct answers were. So whatever you want to do for that. And then same thing for the documents. So I'll show you how to add documents in a minute. Some teachers do show documents. I do. I'm constantly switching my tests, so it's not like I'm trying to make sure that they don't share the test with their friends or share it for the next year or something. But I totally get that many people, even if they're going to let the students review their test, they're going to want to give them a paper copy so they don't have access to that online. Again, I do show them, and if you're like doing a formative assessment with this, you probably would want to show them. So you can either hide the documents, which would be useful if GradeCam does a great job of organizing all your test materials. So if you had PDFs that went with particular keys, like instead of using a paper file, it's kind of a good way to organize your tests and your answer keys. So you can hide your documents if you just don't want anybody to see them. What I don't suggest doing is show documents and allow download. I just show the documents. I'm fully aware that students can and will sometimes maybe take screenshots of things and share them around, but I don't want to make like a PDF download that'll make that process super easy for them. So I just use show documents, but it's up to you. If you want to just hand the student the paper test to look at, you don't have to worry about anything about documents. So it really doesn't matter what you have there. If you never upload the documents, then the students won't see anything. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I'll just, before we move into the student side of things, I will go to the attachment side so you can see what it looks like. You can go to upload. Okay. So when I'm going to go back to these attachments here, and let's say that I have one that I want to upload. Maybe I'm going to be using this particular PDF as my test. And I could show that into the portal for any particular version that I want. I'm not going to include that because that's just a random PDF, but you would go to upload and then save. And now the students would have access to that because I have it as they can see the documents. So that's all you have to do to prepare a test to go up on the student portal for them to see it. But now I am going to show you what it looks like on the student side. So what you're going to do is you are going to click on, you want to go back to your classes, and then you're going to click on a class and then go to these three dots here, and that will allow you to see your student login codes. And then they'll come up as a page here. And what I don't suggest doing is to just like post this in your classroom somewhere. And the reason for that is that there could be some teachers that are using this as an online testing portal. And if you give the, first of all, we don't want students to be having access to students' private grades, but at the same time, like, it'll be especially important that we don't want students to have access to be able to take other students' tests. Now, I don't know if there's that many people who are using that feature now for them to take the online test, but it's important to realize that these login codes stay with the student for all of their 4 years. So it's a unique code just for them, and it is for all of their classes, so not just for your class. So please keep them secure. A lot of teachers will just print this sheet out and then cut them out, or maybe have the student take a picture of it or tape it onto their Chromebook. What I do is I spend a few minutes and I just copy and paste their login codes and send it in an email to them. This way, when they say, oh, I don't know, I want to review my test, but I don't know my login code, oh, just go to your email from me and you'll find it. It just makes things a little bit easier. But I'm just going to pick out a student here that I know might have a few different tests on GradeCam here, and then I'm going to have to log out so I can show you the student side of things. Okay, so I'm going to log in as the student, and I'm not going to see anything in the available because there's nothing for them to take online. But when I go to turned in, you'll see that there's a few different teachers that are using the online portal. And then if I click on my particular class, the student can sort by just their classes, or they can see all their assessments. But if I just go to this particular student's test, I have it set up so she could see what she got wrong, but not what the correct answers are. But it's pretty easy for you to do that. Those scan didn't come out that well, but you could see their extended responses pretty well. I don't know why this scan didn't come out that well. Sometimes that happens. And then if she wants to see the questions that she missed, she can go to the documents and click on the test, and now it's going to come up as view. So let's say, oh, she missed question 10, so she can just click that, and then you can't see that very well, but you can zoom in nicely with the little magnifying glass, and again, you can say that you're looking at that particular question. So that's essentially how they see it. It's nice because over time they can look and see their performance in different, they could just do, that's all their classes, so over time, or they can just see, let's see, this class I think had two tests. Student got the same score on both, so that's why you see that kind of flat line there. So thank you for those teachers who have that in there, so I don't have to just show that just my data. So I have everybody's stuff blurred out, but I think you get the idea. So it's nice because you can let students look at their results kind of on their own time if that's your preference, like it is for mine. And I think that's pretty much it for getting yourself and your students started on the student portal. And I hope that is helpful to you.